Crossroads, we are a homeless shelter. We have multiple shelters, Hastings, Kearney, Grand Island. We're actually under construction in Lexington also. That should be open in about a year. And really we're here just to be able to serve the homeless of our communities, of our areas. Before I started working at Crossroads, I was probably pretty ignorant about homelessness and had a lot of stereotypical views about homelessness, things like that. And a lot of them have changed since I've been here. When you have somebody, what do you guys think the reasons are for somebody being homeless? Yeah. Injury? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Mental health? Yeah. Anything else? Addiction. Yeah. So really those two right there, mental health and addiction, are the biggest two that we see going on. And sometimes we can maybe think a little ill of them or something like that. But when you look at where their addiction started, when all of a sudden they were a teenager and their uncle started doing meth with them, you don't really have much of a chance there. We have a girl in Kearney right now. She started when she was 11 years old. Her mom started doing meth with her. Like you just don't have a chance, right? It's just really hard to get out of that lifestyle from there. So anyway, we're much more than just a shelter. We don't want to just, hey, here's some food, here's a place to sleep, and just kind of go about your day. We want to be able to help people to be able to get back into the community, change their life, and be productive members of society. So we have 4 phases that we walk our guests through. And the first phase is by far the most important stage. It lays the foundation for everything else. If we really don't do well in the first phase, then the rest of them don't even matter. In the first phase, we call it PRP, stands for Personal Resilience Program. And so that we teach classes in the afternoon for a couple hours, and they're all based on being resilient in life, not making emotional-based decisions. They're all biblical-based. We're a Christian organization. All of our classes are biblical-based. And then they're also meeting with their case manager every week, going over where they are with their goals, their progress, things like that. Again, before I started working here, I thought, oh, if you're homeless, just go get a job, right? That's what you need. You just need to go get a job, quit being lazy, go get a job and do your thing. Well, if somebody's addicted to meth, they go get a job and they get money, what are they going to do with that money? Right? They're going to go buy meth with it. So we actually don't want them to work during that first phase, which is very counter what the society thinks. And we're like, no, you need to stay here. You need to be part of the culture of Crossroads. And you just need to be able to take that time to level out, to sober up, to detox, and to start living your life as a sober person instead of just living this life full of chaos. And so during that time, that's when they're learning these things. They're going through our classes. They're being productive around here still. We're not going to enable anybody. They can't just lay around here and do nothing all day long. And so they do have chores they have to do every single day, and just help out around the place and whatnot. That second phase, and that first phase could last 30 days. It could last a year. It's really, as long as that individual is making progress in it. We had a guy over one of our other shelters. He started doing meth when he was 17 years old, and he was 47 when we got him. So for 40 years, he'd been addicted to meth. Really never having a place of his own, in and out of jail, in and out of couches, trailers, in and out of shelters, things like that. Well, you can't change that mindset in 30 days, right? It just ain't going to happen. It just doesn't. And so you have to look at a multi-year process with somebody like this. With a lot of our guests, you really need to be looking. We always say between 6 months and a year is really, if you want to do it right, what it takes to make this thing happen. And it needs to be longer if it has to be. That's fine. Second phase is employment phase. We're working with them to look at resumes, applying for jobs. If you get a job, you have to keep that job for at least 90 days. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but in our society nowadays where people just like jump jobs all the time, very frustrating. And so we're trying to just do our part to stop that. And if you quit a job, you have to put your 2 weeks in. If you don't follow those rules, that certainly could be something that you can be removed from our program for. Third phase is finances. A real Dave Ramsey approach to things. No debt, pay off your debt, save money, buy a vehicle, save money for housing, things like that. Fourth phase is leadership. You're just around here, you're helping the other guests as they come in, and you're living your life as an example of what a changed life can be for our program. On top of that, we offer a ton of food services. If we look at our little handouts, does anybody have an extra one? Is there extra ones somewhere? Right there, okay. Thank you. Just to kind of run through these real quick, and this is Crossroads wide, so all 3 of our shelters. Last year we served just a little over 1,300 people in the Tri-City area. You don't think about homelessness around here. You don't see it like all that much, but it's a lot more than what you think it is. That includes a lot of veterans. Most of the veterans we do serve here in Grand Island. This shelter is a men's only shelter. As you guys know, we have Hope Harbor here in town too, a female and families shelter. And so we partner with them very, very well. That second little bubble down on the left side there talks about food. If you look at the third little deal, food recovery organization-wide, just under 1.5 million pounds. That's a lot of food, right? And so we go to Walmart, Sam's Club, Super Saver, places like that. The food that they're just going to throw away, we take. A lot of it has a shelf life of like just a day or two. It goes pretty quick, but we're able to take that here. A lot of it goes to Hastings, gets kind of repackaged, redistributed. Not only do our shelters are able to use all that food to feed our guests, but then anybody that needs a food box from the community, and anybody can come in, walk in, call, and ask for a food box, and we'll give them a box full of food. We've recently partnered with Multicultural Coalition to be able to start teaching people how to cook with the food that they have in those boxes. And then there's also 17 other pantries throughout southern and western Nebraska that we deliver food to make sure none of this stuff, or try to keep a lot of it from going to waste. If we look clear down at the bottom right, it says $6.21 per day to be able to serve someone. That ends up being just a little over $2,200 a year. The state of Nebraska, it costs us as taxpayers, they say it's about $40,000 a year to have somebody in jail for a year. I think that number is extremely low. I think it's probably closer to $100,000 a year very easily. And so it costs us as taxpayers $100,000 a year to have somebody in jail for an entire year. Or Crossroads can serve one person for an entire year for a little over $2,200. So we're saving the taxpayers a ton of money. 80% of our guests at one point in time have been incarcerated. And so we're helping them to learn skills, life skills, to be resilient, to not be back in those positions, to end up back in jail and live that lifestyle too. It's about all I got. Do you guys have any questions before I turn over to Lutheran Family Services? Yeah.
Have you ever had a situation where it was a single father and his family come in for services from you guys?
Yeah, single family, it's either single father and a family. So here in Grand Island, we're not able to serve kids, and so we would refer them to either Kearney or Grand Island shelter. Yep, and have them over there. Yep.